To Mike, and he's there here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? Okay?
I'm doing good, Chris. How you doing?
All right, Mike, thank you. What's up now? Let me hear.
Quick, speaking of Aaron Boone, he drives me crazy with this lineup that he's putting out day after day. I mean, back in the day, you didn't see the Yanks bat Reggie Jackson second or Mantle second.
Well, he's been batting Stanton second. I mean, he's been batting Stanton second. He's not making out the lineup. That's the analytic department making out the lineup. That's why Boone got hired, because they think that Boone looks at it from an analytical standpoint. I'm with you 1,000%. I know Stanton had a lot of success last year at the Marlins with Mattingly. I get that. Batting, I think he batted 2 a good part of the year. I wouldn't do that either. I put Torres 2, and I would put Stanton 3 or 4, and I would maneuver with DeGregorius. I would not bat him second. I don't think it's that big a deal one way or the other. I know he gets the extra at bat. I know that it helps if he's more. I don't know what with Gardner on first base, he's fastball. Whatever the case, I think that's taking it way too far. I'm with you 100%. But that's the analytical department discussing it from a Yankee perspective. They're heavily in analytics. That's Cashman. That's why Boone got hired, because he believes in that stuff. I'm sure Cashman gives him input, and I'm sure that although the Yankees would never want to admit it, I'm sure that Boone is quietly told, we think this might be the better way, and Boone, being smart, says whatever you want to do, we'll put up the lineup that way. That's what it comes down to.
But these guys, they're creature of habits. They never bat second. I mean, they always bat, Stanton, Judge. I mean, even Sanchez. I mean, it could be messing them up. I mean, that lineup, how many RBIs do you think they're losing by batting him second instead of putting a couple setup guys on and then getting the big home run? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The lineup they put out Saturday for the first game was pathetic. I mean, they're trying to catch the Red Sox. Play everybody, get the wins. I mean, the lineup they put out there, they stacked the lineup. The top 4 guys, the bottom half was ridiculous. I mean, they just basically gave the game away. I don't understand what Aaron Boone is up to.
Well, again, I just I don't watch the lineup. I used to do that all the time. I don't look at the lineup and analyze it on a bat-to-bat basis, as I did say 10, 12 years ago. But I know what the Yankees are thinking. Stanton had a lot of success last year. Takes a little pressure off him, batting second, batting third and fourth. I think it takes a little pressure off him. He gets an extra bat a game maybe by batting 2 compared to, say, hitting cleanup. He probably sees more fastball, whatever the reason. They have their numbers that show that he's more effective in that spot. And Boone's not going to moan and groan about it. Boone's going to, Boone knows where the bread is buttered. And Boone's, I thought, and I love, Boone's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but I thought Boone's response last week, well, let me look at the video before I got out there right now and go crazy and before I comment on Sanchez. Look at the video. Well, what video you got to look at? It was right in front of you 30 times. Go to clubhouse for 5 seconds in between innings and take a peek. Jeez, here's Mark in Dallas. He's with us here, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mark, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Hey, my friend. Thanks for letting me in. Hey, originally Long Island, now I live in Dallas, but I got a very good buddy at Shore Haven. I've played that course many times. I'm the member of Gash probably 3 or 4 times, and I was just very happy to hear that you're a member there. His name is Al DiCarlo.
Great guy. Yes, I know him well.
Good. Well, God bless you. I won't take up any more of your time. I enjoy listening to you.
All right, Marky. We've got a lot of Dallas fans who know that little golf course. Scott in Connecticut is on Mad Dog Unleashed. Scotty, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Good, Chris. How are you?
All right, Scott. Thank you. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
I got a couple issues. I just you brought up a great point with Evaldi, and I think for comedic value, I'd love to see Sonny Gray versus Evaldi on vacation.
You never know what you're going to get either. You won't know what you get out of either one of them. That's 100%.
Both have. They're not my Yankee fan. They both have dynamite stuff, and I liked Evaldi a little bit when he was here. Blah blah blah. But in any event, I'm on vacation a couple of weeks ago with my family. I would go to sit down and watch the Red Sox, Yankees, and Sonny Gray's on there. Gets the first 2 batters out. No problem. 2 strikes in the 3rd batter. Next thing you know, I'm going in the other room to watch the rest of the game. Next thing you know, he gives up 4 runs. Game over again.
That's the Saturday night game at Yankee Stadium. It was 12-0 against Sale. Remember the game?
Yeah. Disgusting. And then the other thing is, as far as Sanchez is concerned, he needs a safe space. He's like one of these millennials. I could care less. I'd rather have Romine in there. I don't need the bat behind the plate. I'd rather have the catching behind the. The main reason for my call is that with everything that you're saying with regard to the analytics of the game and the fact that he's actually not, he's being driven by powers of a higher force. But you gotta have a manager that's going to motivate this team to beat the teams who can't play. They almost got beat by the Kansas City Royals in a doubleheader. What an opportunity to make up some games to the Red Sox. They can't beat the mediocre team.
Well, they are 30 over 500, Scott. I mean, they are playing 645 baseball. They are 67 and 37. I can't go. I know they're very good against the good teams. They've done a good job against. They're 5-2 against the Astros. Is all you need to know. I have to, and they're 5-4 against the Red Sox. So they're 10-6 against those two teams. I got to give the Yankees, and they are 30 over. I can't go crazy on that record. Now, they haven't played that well for the last 30, 40, 30, 35 games. And I think they are a little, I think they've been pressing a bit with the Red Sox winning every day. But the Red Sox schedule has been unbelievably easy. I mean, the Red Sox have had a stretch of games here. The Nationals stink. They played them under 500. They beat the Royals. They beat the Twins. They played Texas. I mean, they played the Orioles again. And they have played absolutely nobody. It will change a bit because the Red Sox do have 10 games with Houston and Cleveland, and the Yankees are done with both those teams. So it will change a bit here down the road. Lou in Hoboken, New Jersey. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Lou, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hi, Chris. Big fan of yours for about 20 years, but my first time getting on.
There you go, Lou. Good to have you with us now. What's on your mind today? Fire away.
All right. So all season, I've been something of an apologist for Gary Sanchez. That's a hard Yankee staff to catch. They throw the fewest percentage of fastballs out of any team in the league. But now, up until last week, now I've had to change my tune a little bit. It's hard to watch him continually let balls get through the 5-hole. He let a bad one get through his legs on Friday night against the Mets, and I was annoyed when that happened. And then the game against the Rays happened. What really concerns me is I don't know if there's anyone in that organization that is willing to take a hard line with the guy. And I think the only person that was in the organization last year that was willing to take a hard line with the guy was let go. And it seemed that one of the biggest reasons he was let go, as you mentioned before, was because he was so hard on Sanchez. And it worries me that a guy who's, you're expecting to be the linchpin of your franchise going forward, that is going to want a ton of money once he's arbitration eligible. And,
well, the Yankees don't have to worry. The Yankees don't have to worry about that right now, about the money. But go ahead.
And I think, I wonder if anyone in the front office is kind of telling each other, well, this is the risk we run when we bring in, this new age young player manager.
I think the issue you'd have right now is the Yankees have a lot of these new age players: Judge, Torres, throw in Clint Frazier. Obviously you have Sanchez. They have 4 or 5 of Bird. They got 4 or 5 of these new age players who think the world owes them a living. And, the Yankees are probably going to have one who's hard to take, which is pretty good. Judge is a good guy. Bird, doesn't say boo. We haven't seen enough of Torres yet. He's had a couple of non-hustle scenarios, too. We haven't seen enough of him. But, he looks, we'll give him a benefit of that at the moment. Sanchez looks to be a real pain in the neck. I don't know how anybody can support him from last week. I don't know how. To me, let me go look at the video and then not take him out of the game in the first inning when he lollygagged. And then he says he's hurt. Well, then why is he catching innings 2 through 8? That doesn't make any sense. You can't say you're hurt and then you still catch. And if you're not benched for lack of hustle, well, then what does that tell you? So that bothered me. It didn't seem to bother Steve, but that bothered me. And the Mets in the process got destroyed for the way they handled Cespedes because they didn't know how to handle Cespedes. We didn't know about his heels. Then we did know. Cespedes is out 8 months. And then the Yankees, who let Sanchez walk all over him and are paying a manager, $4 million for 3 years, $1 million a year. Think about that. Yankee manager's making $1 million a year. That's it. And then we get right down to the fact that Jordy was making $4 million and he's making $1 million. But when you get right down to it, basically Sanchez urinated on Babe Ruth when you get right down to it last week.
Sanchez urinated on Babe Ruth.
The thought of Ruth. What's your take on a lack of hustle last week?
That was terrible. I can't defend that.
Right? You got to give him a break because he was hurt, so that's why he didn't hustle.
Well, look. I understand what you're saying about Boone. He's not going to kill his guy after the game in front of the press. He's just not going to do it. So for you, what do you expect him to be like? You know what, guys, you're right. Gary's a lazy piece of garbage.
No, he could have said, guys, you happen to be right. He didn't hustle in that play.
But he's not going to do that.
We will discuss it internally.
He could have said that, but he's not going to. But he's not going to call him out and say he didn't hustle.
No, but he was he asked the question after the game, and the answer was yes. And his answer was, let me go look at the video.
Yeah, now
he should have said, guys, you know what? We understand there was a couple of sequences. We'll discuss this internally.
We'll address it. Yeah, he could have done that. But he's not going to call out and kill the guy in front of the press. The one thing he could have done, because, again, apparently everything I've read and heard, Sanchez basically said afterwards when he was questioned that he felt like he tweaked something in the first inning.
Then why didn't Boone find out about that?
Well, that's why I agree with you. Like, he could have gone and be like, hey, I didn't like what I saw here. Hey, Gary, what's going on? How come you didn't hustle? Or are you all right? And then if he said, yeah, I'm fine, then that's on him for lying. And then if he said that, then Boone would be like, well, what the hell are you doing?
Well, then he should have benched him for not hustling.
Or, and then but he didn't go up. So I think that's fair to criticize Boone.
Oh, very fair. Very fair. And the Yankee,
but, I don't know about the comparison to Cespedes. I mean, that's an all-time.
Well,
no. The guy's going to be out for a year and a half.
No, the point is the Mets get killed for the way they handled Cespedes. I mean, the Yankees basically fired Girardi for Sanchez here. They didn't like the way he handled it. Sanchez has been a pain. Let's be honest, Steve. He's been a pain.
Hey, he hasn't been great.
He sucker punched the Tigers last year. He got suspended. That was disgraceful of what he did there. And you bring up Miguel Cabrera to bounce it.
Yeah.
Forget Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel handled himself real well in that situation, too.
You're right. Two wrongs don't make a right. You want to bring up Cabrera, go right ahead. You couldn't have you could not like what you saw last year out of Sanchez. So that was a scenario. And, let's be honest. The Yankees, Cashman makes the lineup. Stanton should not be batting second.
Look, here's the thing. And one other thing about Sanchez. Yeah, a lot of what you say is true. But the idea that you're making this injury up and you're just going to let him sit on the disabled list for a month to cover it up, that's a bunch of nonsense. Well, you don't think they want him in the lineup? I know Romine's having a good year, but come on. Gary Sanchez hit 40 homers.
That was awfully convenient, Steve. Say what you want.
Fine. For 10 days maybe, but not till September.
Well, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Let's wait and see. But the bottom line is, if he was so hurt now, why did he play 8 innings then? You see, you're dead if you go there, because then I'm going to say, well, Steve.
Well, you didn't aggravate. He can't aggravate the injury.
He said he aggravated in the first inning.
Right.
Well, then why was he in the game?
But we didn't know. Nobody knew that at the time.
Well, why didn't Boone ask him after he didn't hustle?
I just said to you.
Well, that's the point.
I agree with that.
Okay.
They should have done that.
That's terrible.
But to say that they're DLing him just to save face is that's garbage. I mean, there's no way you're not going to want Gary Sanchez to be in the lineup. 10 days, I'll give you, not a month.
Well, you don't know if it's a month yet. Can we see?
Well, they're saying September.
Well, no, they're not. They said sometime in August. They didn't say September. They said sometime in August.
First week of September.
No, I didn't hear that, Steve. It was sometime in August.
What did you hear? You were on vacation.
You were
driving around Lancaster. By the way, do you realize you mentioned Kutztown? Just to change the subject. Kutztown was the site of my first college broadcast of play-by-play.
I did not know that. CW Post
against Kutztown. You know who was on Kutztown, don't you?
Lacrosse, this is.
No, it was football.
Football.
Yeah.
The NFL player went there.
Andre Reed.
That's right. Andre Reed went to Kutztown.
He was a friggin' man among boys. First game I ever did. Oh, my God, this guy's great.
You did a CW Post Kutztown football game.
Yes.
This would be 1984.
It was fall of 83. They opened the season there, and I think they lost. I'd have to go look it up. I don't know if you can find it on the computer, but it was like a pretty high-scoring game, and I think they lost by 3, if I remember correctly.
And so you did the game in Kutztown.
Yeah, first game I ever did.
How about that? That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I brought that up, and away you go.
So you had a nice drive to.
Are you familiar with CG's, the burger joint?
I'm not. I haven't made it there.
222? Okay.
I did go back to Kutztown my senior year to do a basketball game, too.
Well, Kutztown's Division 1 in basketball. At least they were.
No, they're 2.
Oh, they are 2?
Yeah.
I thought they were 1 at one point. They're Division 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Now, how you doing?
Good.
When are you going to get a little break, by the way? You need a break.
Some time off?
You look pale?
Later this month. In August.
Pale?
I don't think I look pale. I think I look good.
Where, you going to go to that dive in Rhode Island again? But you can't bring Bentley, so that's a problem.
One time you said that I had this gorgeous place on the water, and now you're calling it a dive. It's whatever works for you.
You want me to have Bentley for a couple days so you take him? I'll take him for you.
Oh, you will, huh?
I will. I got 2 dogs. We'll bring Bentley in the mix. They get beat up a little bit, but we'll see if he's got some toughness.
See if he's got some toughness.
There you go. How you feeling? Things okay?
Feel very good. So you had a nice little 4 days?
Not bad. The drive on Friday was a little tedious, but not bad. Overall, I love Newport. You love Newport, too.
Newport's the greatest. That's why I got engaged. You know that.
I did. And you went to honeymoon, you went to Greece, right?
That's correct.
That's right. So you got engaged in Where'd you get engaged in Newport? Right on that hill there?
No. I chartered an old school yacht. through the Chamber of Commerce.
Did you really?
So I did a little 3-hour tour that ended better than Gilligan and folks.
Yeah.
At least now, anyway.
Did you have a guy who ride the boat for you?
Yeah, they had a whole crew and everything.
You did. That's what you did.
That's correct.
Did Lauren have any idea what was coming?
No, I mean, she might have indicated it, but she was saying how, like, this is so long ago since we're going to be coming up on 24 years in another 3 weeks. But, yeah, she was talking about going, like, want to go on a boat, rent a boat or go on a boat ride or whatever. And ironically, I scheduled a boat ride. I said, here's your freaking boat. Let's go.
No kid. When was that? When was that?
This is 1992.
24 years ago, 1992.
Or maybe 93.
93 I
got married in 94, right? 93.
What month was it?
It was August.
Whole kidding. I was in Newport all that summer. I had just met Gene.
How about that? We might have been in the same restaurant. We didn't even know it.
How about that? But I knew you then.
Yeah, we knew each other. So we would have known. Yeah,
I would have recognized. How could I miss the bald head, the black hair?
Well, back then I had a little more hair.
Goomba. I would have picked you up in a minute. But anyway.
I would think so. Yeah, with that description.
I tell you, we did rent the scooters. You know those little scooters?
Oh yeah, those are fun.
Oh my God, did I have a ball doing those?
Those are good.
Oh, I enjoyed
You
that.
handled it well. No wobbly wheels.
Oh no, there were some wobbly wheels, but we survived.
Did you put on a helmet?
You don't have to wear a helmet if you're over 21. But if you're under 21,
too cool for a helmet.
Yeah, and if you're under 21, you do. And I went to that place on the hill there, that restaurant on the hill. What's it called?
Yeah. What is the name of that
Chandler
place?
or Chancellor? I'll give it to you in a minute. Because I went there last Monday.
Some
night.
great restaurants.
Oh, I'd say good. Food's good. Food's good. And I got lucky with the weather. And I did not go.
Yeah, because the forecast was terrible where we were.
Very
in
fortunate.
the New York area.
Very fortunate. I'll tell you what the name of that restaurant. I went to the Clark Cookhouse, and Castle Hill.
Oh yes, Castle Hill, of course.
You've heard of it, right?
Oh yeah.
I buy a house in Newport a minute. You want to go halves with me?
Well, if you put up a little like 98%, maybe yes. Yeah.
And I love
halves.
I love that Newport Country Club, but I was not able to convince the missus to let me go play.
Did you play any tennis at the?
No, I didn't.
Hall?
I have played there before. Tennis. Have you played? I have. You know what my buddies did once for a 50th birthday party? They took 8 guys up there and they played tennis for all day at Newport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have played tennis on those courts. Have you played? Yeah,
I have not. I haven't played in the schoolyard.
You know what the problem with tennis is on grass courts? If the adjustment is not going to the grass courts. You can do that from clay easy. The adjustment is going back to the clay. It throws you off.
Is that right?
Oh, it throws you off. At least it did for me. Anyway, so you had a decent couple of days here.
Bentley's good. Bentley's good, yeah.
All right, very good. And how is Luke? Luke okay?
Luke's doing fine, thank you.
The baseball, is it over now finally?
No, they're in their summer league playoffs.
Oh,
they won their first game the other day. This is early. It's still July. People go deep into August. I'll be done probably another. He'll be done. Is he
playing or is he getting a chance to get in there a little bit? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Now, you went to Aberdeen on a couple of occasions at Cal Ripken because Eddie was there this weekend.
Yeah, Eddie was telling me all about it. Yeah, I've been there several times.
Oh,
it's a good spot.
Eddie thinks he's got he thinks he's got the next Johnny
Bench. Got a scholarship player?
Oh, he thinks he's got the next Johnny Bench.
Bench.
He loves this. And Declan's doing well, speaking of scholarship.
Yeah.
My
he's
nephew,
on a fast track from what I understand.
Right-hander.
And he's got his football season coming up.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Yes, indeed.
And he's entering his junior year, is that correct?
He's got 2 more years.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, good little athlete. Hey, what else you got? Anything else for me?
Let's see. What else can I
Do you
tell
like the Yankee lineup? Do you like Stanton hitting second?
Look, it's taken me a while to sort of get used to that, with Judge. I mean, Judge has been there, 60-something games or more, actually. Almost every game he's been. So you get used to it, and actually you like him getting up in the first inning sometimes. You know what I mean? But it is hard to adjust to, like if you're a traditional baseball fan, because you're right. Torres is a perfect two guy. Perfect two guy.
How does it work? Does Cashman come down at 5 o'clock and slip Aaron the lineup that night?
Well, I think sometimes Aaron posts the lineup, and so 6:55 he'll take a look in the dugout. You're not doing this. You got this. That's what you want to hear. Right?
I was thinking about that. Good line, Steve. I was thinking about this the other day, and I wonder how you feel about it. I know they won a championship. Would you make that trade again if you were the Cubs, trading Torres for Chapman? He is that good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that they were.
I mean, Chapman won him a World Series. I don't know if anybody else could have done that, but I'll tell you,
they had to make the move because
this kid is
great.
He's a great player.
He's great. I think the Cubs had to make the move because, again, still unproven. they were. What was the missing ingredient that year? It was a closer. They had to do it.
They couldn't get somebody else without giving up that young kid because he is good, boy. Oh, I'm not a big fan, but he is a hell of a player.
Why aren't you a big fan?
Well, I'm not a big fan. I guess a Yankee.
You just got to knock him.
It's a Yankee. And John Sterling at 80 doing, basically in that ballpark for 14 hours. If I'm doing that at 80, shoot me. I mean, I
was thinking about what he did. Like, he obviously ate something. So what else did he do? Do you think he took a nap in between
he read
games?
one of his books.
Yeah, he probably did.
We've read about his books. He's
and lamented like how they could possibly lose to the Royals.
Yeah, he was probably annoyed they lost that
he
first
probably
game.
Was.
That's 100% right.
Because he kept talking about they had the second inning, they bases loaded, nobody out.
And I'll tell you right now, you know I'm right. 5-5, October 11th, 9th inning. Did you hear me say that at the top of the show today?
I don't think so. What'd you say now?
Well, October 11th, which is game 5, Yankees, Red Sox, series? Top of the 9th, 5-5 at Fenway. Write it down.
You think that's going to happen?
I think it's going to be right down to the
You might be right.
And I think it's asinine to have these two teams play in the first round.
It stinks. The Red Sox are really playing well now. I was thinking of some things about the Red Sox, though. I mean, they've been on such a ridiculous pace, and you keep saying to yourself that they'll eventually slip a little bit. They just don't seem to want to. Now, I remember last year, the Dodgers went through that stretch where they could not lose. We couldn't believe how great they were.
Then they lost 16-7.
Then they hit the skids. But
the Red Sox, Dodgers had no pressure on. They could kill less.
Right, true.
The Red Sox have the Yankees on their heels.
Yeah, the thing that everybody's complaining about the Yankees now, maybe we're spending too much time on this, but they're on pace. They are on pace to win 104 games.
No, you can't kill them. They're 30 over 500.
If they were in any other division, they would have a comfortable lead.
I can't go crazy on that. I am with you 100%.
Just the Red Sox are on a historic pace. I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, the first-place teams go through ruts once in a while.
But